Grid is live. Initiate.
Excellent!
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Bogus.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
My name's Norman Bates.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. I'm in, Mom.
Merry Christmas, movie house! We came, we saw, we kicked his ass.
I'm just not the hero type, clearly.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
Oh, well. Let me go in and say hi.
Hail to the king, baby.
Well, hello, everyone out there in Pajukan land. It is Sunday, March 7th, 2021. I am Maxwell Haddad, and this is the first Unwind of the month because, as I'm sure you know, we just finished our much-needed spring break vacation week. With me, as always, is my right-hand man, or I'm his right-hand man, or I'm a left hand and he's a right hand. I don't know. My good friend and the namesake of this wonderful channel, Mr. PJ Campbell. How are you tonight, PJ?
I'm good, man. I'm glad that you got away for a week and got much needed rest. Unfortunately, I was not really resting as much as I would have liked, but it was still fun. It's been a long week. It's been a good week, and the Schmodown's back in its full swing of glory. I thank you, everyone who's been watching the matches. You guys are the best, and it's going to be a good night. I'm excited to talk about the MCU.
I am too. And as per the vacation, I like how both on Monday night and Tuesday night we ended up streaming anyways, just not on our channel.
And then me on Thursday and Friday on top of it.
Right. You're a busy guy. Although, congratulations. Nice job with the rundown.
Oh, thanks, man. That was really fun. It'd been a long time since I'd been on. And, you know, I like hanging out with Frank. And Brad's been sick. So they called me and said, hey, do you want to sub in? You know, we know that you know what you're talking about. And it was a lot of fun. And I don't get to do that very often because I love the Schmodown a lot for so many reasons, and we don't talk about it a lot here because we're more of a Schmodown adjacent sort of thing. But like, it's one of my favorite sports, like hockey and baseball, right? And this for me, and so it was kind of fun to do a sports centric type thing versus just talking about movies. Not that I don't like talking about movies, but it just changed it up a little bit.
Totally. Also, Brandy pointed out that we were on the wrong side, so I switched it. Sorry to cause you issues.
Yeah. Well, Sean, can I bring him in? Because he said he broke something.
Yeah, let's bring Sean in.
Sean, what did you break? Okay.
Can you fix it?
Is the game board file in the dock folder?
No, but it looks like crap now.
Told you I broke it.
I was hoping that if I closed it and opened it, it would be better, but
so was I.
This is going really well, and it just started.
It looks
in other
terrible.
news, I fixed Eric's name.
Kind of, but you gotta get it back. You gotta fix it.
I messaged Chris.
So I'm going to drop you out. PJ and I are going to go over some show notes. You have about 7 minutes to fix it. PJ, what's your shirt today?
We're still rocking a little bit of Twin Peaks here from the new Twin Peaks line that Fright Rags put out, which I was super excited about. What are you rocking tonight, my friend?
I got Terminator 2 going on here.
Oh, yeah, I like it. So I see it. I see it. We're sharing our love for two of our favorite t-shirt sites.
Huh?
I like it. Do we have other? Dipper was real excited about that too. But as this is going on, what else is coming up this week, Maxwell?
Let's talk about it. So we were on break. We didn't do any watch-alongs last week, but we've been talking about how March is Women Filmmakers Month, and that starts tomorrow night. We are watching a film that is a particular favorite of mine, and it's also relevant because Chloe Zhao's Nomadland is the talk of the town. As you know, it was my favorite film of last year. It's available on Hulu now. So I figured let's start off Women Filmmakers Month with a bang, and we're going to watch her previous film, The Rider. Let's get this off here.
Yeah, I was like,
by Chloe Zhao. This film is available to stream for free on Pluto.tv. Pluto.tv is you don't need a subscription, you don't need an account, you don't need to pay. You just click over there, open up the movie, and it plays for free. So that'll be tomorrow at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Please join us if you haven't seen it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous film. All the actors are non-actors. It's so naturalistic and beautiful. I was lucky enough to see it in theaters. I own the Blu-ray. That's tomorrow. Then on Wednesday, Tuesday first, Book
yes.
Nook. Book Hook. Book Hook is the spinoff where we talk about novels written by and about hookers. Book Nook, hosted by Dwayne Burke and myself. Episode 2, we are talking about Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. We're being joined by our guest, Aiden Kosek, who you know as one of Dwayne's co-hosts over on his channel. They have a show, I think it's called Dessert Men. So that'll be tomorrow, 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. Really looking forward to it. Huge fan of the book. Next, on Wednesday, Suddenly Soundtracks is back with an Off the Record. And so what Off the Record is it's basically the original format of Suddenly Soundtracks, wherein the panel ranks the songs on the scale of skip it to hard rockin'. But instead of it being a soundtrack, it's just an album. And this album that's happening on Wednesday is Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. This was picked by our wonderful gold tier patron, Sean Wingblade. I know he's a big fan of the band, big fan of Chester. And it's hard not to think of this band without thinking about Chester and where he ended up, his unfortunate early demise. But that's going to be a great show. I know this one of the Cinefanatics, Robert, is going to be joining.
Yeah, and I believe James White.
And maybe PJ, so that'll be a lot of fun. Then on Friday, we're doing a watch-along, but we are not announcing the title yet. Next week, on the 16th, Drunk, which is episode 7 of Box. I can't believe we made 7 episodes of this shit. This is a March St. Patrick's Day themed episode. This is the old thumbnail. I apologize, Sean. This is what Chris had in there. I am so sorry.
I'm so excited for everyone to see this, though. I'm going
to yell at Chris. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. What unfolded, I think you can tell. Couple other notes. March 24th is the 1-year anniversary of the PJ Campbell Network. So we're having a massive celebration that will involve copious amounts of alcohol. Many, if not all of the people you see here on your screen will be joining us at one point or another. And we may have other special guests because one of the things we've always done here as a community is collaborate and engage with other channels. So I would love some of the POV folk to come by. If maybe PLD wants to stop by. Yeah, Kaiser's definitely going to stop by. And by the way, it's Kaiser's birthday. I'm sure he has better things to do than watch this, but from all of us,
we love you, Kaiser.
Happy birthday, Kaiser. We love you. As you know, WandaVision is over, but what's coming up soon? The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So starting the Saturday after the premiere of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the PJCN Water Cooler Chat is back as we discuss and break down every episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's going to be a blast. I can't wait. Finally, we do have a Patreon. Thank you so much to our executive producers, Brandon Buckingham, Brandy Parker, and Ricardo Franco, our gold producer, Sean Wingblade, our producers, Anton Putra, Beth Harris, Chris Pokernoy, Ferris Muthana, Jeff Alterman, Jake Berlin, Mike K, Molly Damon, Patricia Carrillo, She-Ra Potato, Stephen White, Kale the Youth Critic, and Tyler Birch. Every week this list grows. Your support has been incredible. We could not do this without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, seriously, we love you guys. Thank you so much for... We've been doing this for almost a year now. Like, that's why we're doing a 1-year celebration. And without you guys, we would just be talking into a void. So it's kind of cool. So thank you guys.
Yes. Now, let's bring in some guests. I think it's fixed.
It looks fixed. It looks like we got it working again. So let's bring in the guy who may have fixed it. I don't know. He's back again. Hi, Sean.
Did you fix it?
Well, then we've also got Kristen Smith. Hi, Kristen.
I don't think I can.
What just happened? All right. Well, we've got Eric. Hi, Eric.
Man.
Why is everyone making noises at us and going away?
I'm not touching any of it, so I don't know.
All right, let's try this again. So we'll bring it in. Hello, Eric. It's good to see you.
Hello, gentlemen. Nice to see you.
How are you doing, buddy?
Doing all right. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
We're surviving.
Yeah.
But, this is your first time on the Unwind. We're glad to have you, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm going to try to stay up late. Let's see what happens.
Well, look, I couldn't think of a better person to have on with us tonight, considering you did most of the WandaVision with us over the last couple of weeks.
You love the MCU.
Yeah, I heard MCU. I was like, I don't care. What's up?
So you're
Do I
basically
need to wear pants? Let's do the dance.
You're kind of like Ethan Suplee in Remember the Titans when he's like, I heard football, I come running. So
exactly.
Okay, perfect. That's good to know. Well, on top of that, we also have the wonderful
Eric. Who's your favorite Marvel villain? I gotta fix this.
Oh, it's Thanos. Praise be to Thanos.
Pick another one.
Okay. Killmonger.
Great.
Okay. We also have Kristen Smith here tonight. Hi, Kristen.
Hey!
How are you?
Good.
Are you sure?
Maxwell, who's yours?
Favorite?
Yeah.
Let's go Gila.
Great.
Oh, damn. You guys are picking my favorites.
No,
That's
you're
okay.
lucky, Kristen. It's okay.
Did I get to choose one? No one asked me.
Fine.
No, you don't get to choose, Patrick.
Oh, boo. Okay. Because I had a controversial opinion that I wanted to say out loud just to see how people reacted.
Yellow Jacket. It was Yellow Jacket, wasn't it?
Trevor Slattery, ladies and gentlemen.
He's not on here.
That is an opinion.
Because Iron Man 3 is peak MCU.
Well, we'll see that soon.
Yeah, we will
To be
discuss
determined.
this.
TBD.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm excited though, guys, because I love the MCU. Obviously, this weekend we just got through the very first Marvel Studios television series with WandaVision, which wrapped up its 9-episode run, and it was a lot of fun. So we figured, what the hell, we might as well rank the MCU this weekend because there's not a better time to do it. Because we assume Black Widow's coming out in a couple of weeks, but who knows at this point?
Yep.
So might as well do it before Black Widow comes out too. So how are we going to do this, guys?
All right, so this is going to be a little different than Enormous Survivor Island because in Enormous Survivor Island, all of us would be nominating 10 things that most likely came from a fairly infinite list of possible choices. Here with the MCU, there are only 23 choices. We're not dealing with the TV shows. We're just dealing with the 23 movies. So instead of nominating films that you would advocate for like we normally would, we are just going to go through all 23 films in release order, starting with Iron Man, making our way all the way to Spider-Man Far From Home. After the film is brought up, I'll introduce the film. We'll go around the room, discuss your thoughts on it, and then end with a yes or a no. Is it making our top 10 list? Everyone has a save and a kill. If something makes the top 10 list with a majority vote, you can choose to kill it. But then if someone saves it, thereafter it's saved and you maintain your kill and vice versa. So if there's something you love that gets a minority vote and doesn't make it, you can save it. Everyone gets one save and one kill unless it's used back to back, and then you gain it back. Once the films are on the top 10, there will be no more kills or saves and then we'll order them, and we'll come up with our ultimate top 10. Now, here's the one wrinkle for our players and those at home. Because there is such a finite number of choices, 23, it's possible we won't end up with a full top 10 list. I think it's unlikely based on how much I know we all enjoy the MCU. But if for some reason there's less than 10 movies that either get a majority of votes of yes or are saved, we could end up with 6 or 7 or 8. Again, I don't think that's possible, but just because we're playing here with only 23 possible choices, just want to make sure everyone understands the rules before we get into it.
There's only one movie in the entire MCU that I wouldn't want anywhere near a top 10, so I think we'll be safe. And I'm sure that my opinion is probably close to the rest of the panels.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple that I expect people to be, specific advocates for that maybe aren't as beloved. Rachel Cushing, I saw, responded to your tweet earlier saying that no two people have the same ranking for Marvel films, so this is going to be quite difficult, but we'll see how it goes. So let me bring on the game board here.
No, I like the Hulk one, Liz. Mine is Thor: The Dark World.
Well, we'll get there.
Hey, spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if Patrick likes the
game
Hulk so
board.
much, then he can have the Hulk.
Nope, we want that.
If
there we go.
If Patrick likes the Hulk so much, why doesn't he
we
marry
have
the Hulk?
Here we have the game board. As you could see, everyone has their save and their kills.
I fixed it.
I'm so proud.
I am Groot.
Would you rather be Black Widow?
I am Groot. No, Kara has a Groot storybook, and she likes it when I say I am Groot. So I would like to be Groot. She makes me read it so that I say
guess
I am Groot.
Black Widow and Red Skull are for nobody.
That's for the chat.
Yeah,
for the chat.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the other good thing is there won't be any ties because there's 5 of us, so we will never have to go to the chat. So let's get started with the one that began it all. Iron Man from 2008, directed by Johnny Favs. Let's start going down the room with Mr. Sean. I'm going to need you to elaborate more than just a thumbs up. This isn't Siskel and Ebert, my friend.
Oh.
Wow,
I mean,
2 of the thumbs.
You're not going to articulate anything at all?
I love this movie.
Okay.
All right. So that's 1 yes for Iron Man. Moving on to PJ, the original Iron Man.
Coming in with the controversial opinion off the top, this has no place in the top 10. And the only reason I say that is because we have progressed so far past it. And I think that while it lays the groundwork, I think the seams of it show now, especially in the back where they were shooting it kind of on the fly. And it's a really fun movie and I like it a lot. But I think that, in my opinion, it is not the top tier of the MCU.
Okay, that's 1 and 1. Eric, the original Iron Man.
Strongly disagree with everything PJ just said out of his beautiful mouth. This thing holds up great. It is a top 10 movie. I remember being a young 20-year-old something who had practically no job, was broke, and had to take a cash advance on his paycheck just so he could see this opening night at midnight, and it was worth it. It still holds up. Without Iron Man, there is no MCU. We are not having this conversation. We're talking about something else instead. Maybe the Transformers cinematic universe, which is the universe I don't want a part of. So this is an up. To quote Sean.
All right, that's
No,
2 to
you
1.
gotta give
Trying
a
to cause
stupid
the
smile
Tim
with
Franco
it
havoc,
too.
Tim.
Kristen, Iron Man.
Should I try and be edgy to make Pat happy?
I think you should be authentic and true to yourself.
Well, the original Iron Man is in my personal top 10. I love this movie. It's probably the one I've seen the most out of any MCU film. I just watched it the other day. And it never gets old. Every single time I watch it, I like it. It's a great origin story. And I think the way they tell it is really good. And everything holds up in it. Like a lot of the effects, because a lot of it was practical, hold up so well. So
I agree with
it's a yes for me. Or as Sean says.
All right, so that's 3 to 1. So it's making the list, unless there's already some funny business. For what it's worth, I would not have voted for it in the top 10. while also recognizing that it is a very, very good superhero origin movie that does hold up. And that just illustrates the strength of the MCU to me, that there are far more movies that I love than I don't. Which is why this is going to be thrilling to see. So unless I'm not going to, but unless PJ decides to kill, the first on our list is Iron Man.
Tony Stark has died enough for us. I don't think he should die again.
That brings us to our next film, The Incredible Hulk, starring Edward Norton.
Mark Wahlberg.
And we'll start with PJ on this one.
I like the movie a lot, but I think it also shows a lot of like a sophomore effort, if you will, for the MCU. I think it's an outlier because obviously outside of the casting, it doesn't have a whole lot that's tied through.
Marcus.
I enjoy it a ton, but I don't think it really needs to be in the top 10, just strictly speaking.
Okay. Eric?
Not top 10. I watched it about a year ago, and I came to the conclusion these special effects do not hold up. They are atrocious. It's probably like the worst made Marvel movie, so it is not top 10 for me. So,
all right, Kristen, what do you got?
No, I don't think so. It's my lowest ranked one. It's still good. Like, I love the acting in it. But I think my favorite part is whenever I want to watch it, I open up my DVD copy, and inside is a free trial for Norton Antivirus.
Oh yeah,
how funny is it that Norton Antivirus gave a free trial for a movie starring Edward Norton?
Pretty clever.
So that's all I got.
That is clever. For me, it is my least ranked movie in the MCU. It's an easy no for me. Sean?
I think what Ang Lee was able to do with this film is quite astonishing. I really liked some of the work to make it look like a comic book. But yeah, I think ultimately it just doesn't hold up.
Fantastic, Sean. I'm really glad you're here.
I wish that the effects
I think
had been
that joke
better.
at top 10.
I wish the effects had been better because it could have been a really, really great movie.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
like I said, I mean, it was also their sophomore effort. And when you look at how Iron Man's production was and then what happened with Hulk as a production, like, again, there's a reason I think that and I like Iron Man a lot. Like, people are going to take it the wrong way, the way I said everything. But, like, you can just see seams of they were still figuring out what to do as a studio. And that's okay.
Of course,
like, you know,
I'm trying so hard not to murder Sean.
Why?
So say goodbye, Hulk, as you go to the graveyard.
It did have my favorite Stan Lee cameo, so.
Which brings us to our next film in the MCU, Iron Man the Second. And for this one, we will start with Eric.
This is going to be a no for me. Is it a good Marvel movie? Yes. Is it top 10? No. It really got bogged down with, studio notes, try to incorporate so many. I mean, Jon Favreau did the best he could with it, but it's just the two villains didn't work. They should have either focused on Sam Rockwell or
Sir, we do not disparage Sam Rockwell ever.
No, never. If it was me, it would just be all Sam Rockwell all the time. But unfortunately, they did not do him justice in Iron Man 2, so it's a no for me.
All right, that's fair. Kristen?
Yeah, I think Matt Nose did great in the movie. I want my board, and it's a no.
I want my bud.
Yeah. I want my board, but I don't want this movie in the top 10.
We have Evan DeGraff in the chat saying it's the best MCU movie, hands down. Are you referring to Iron Man 2, Evan? Oh,
Iron Man 1.
I'm going to go
this
ahead
is a
and,
bit. He said this is a bit.
I was going to put him in a timeout otherwise.
I got put in timeout the other day somewhere, and I was very unhappy about it.
I can't imagine why.
I do not think Iron Man 2 is a bad movie. There's only one or maybe 1.5 movies in the MCU that I frankly think are bad movies.
I agree with that.
But this is still definitely lower rung. It's fun, but it really is clearly, as Eric said, trying to do too much because it felt like the studio was like, you can't just tell your own story. You have to do this, and this. So it's a no for me. Sean?
Okay, so this is not a bit. I like this movie a lot. Obviously, I can't save it now. It's too late. There's nothing I can do. Absolutely nothing I can do. But I like this movie a lot. I think it gets a lot of flack for the studio notes, but ultimately, like, the portrayal of the characters are great. Ivan Vanko's great. Justin Hammer's great.
The action bits are fantastic.
The action bits are stunning. I mean, a lot of the movie is a very solid foundation for a movie, and I think that the retrospect of having so many other movies around it makes it seem so much worse. Yeah, buy Iron Man 2.
Like, I want to be
All
clear. I don't think any of us, when we say we don't want it in our top 10, mean we dislike any.
Right.
Like, I like every single MCU movie, even if I don't particularly love every part of some of them. Like, I legit like it. Like, and ranking anything up to like my number 21 is like, they're all good, you know.
Well, and I was gonna say,
PJ, I think you're the last one to talk about Iron Man 2.
I mean, I'm not going to save it, but in my opinion, I am with Sean. Like, I actually prefer this to the first one, and I know that that's a really controversial opinion, but I like Don Cheadle more as Rhodey. I like the stuff that it lays out and we start to see throughout the series. I think that it does the necessary world building without getting terribly bogged down. Like, I think people overreact to that a lot because I think the way that they tie in the Demon in the Bottle storyline in the same way that they're also building towards the Avengers actually works in the film's favor overall. I think Ivan Vanko was maybe the weakest link in the film, but otherwise I like everything else.
But he just wanted his bird.
I want my board.
He had it. He had a storyline that we could easily follow. He wanted his bird. He wanted revenge.
Mm-hmm.
He was not a carbon copy of Iron Man. He was not a carbon copy of Tony. He cared about his bird, and he cared about his father's legacy.
Yes, I know. Okay, but we're not. We've already voted it out. It's not going to be in the top 10 unless you want to say
it's not. So we're putting our second film into the graveyard, which brings us to our next entry, Thor by Kenneth Branagh from 2011. And we will start with Kristen on Thor.
Brandy brings up a good point that birds aren't real.
That is a good point.
Yeah, but
so it's a good point. Yeah, I really love this movie. I when it came out, I didn't like it, but then like as more movies started coming out, I think I appreciated it more and more. So now it's one that I really enjoy going back to. And I'm gonna say no, just because there are a lot of really, really good movies, and there's a better Thor movie as well that I would like in the top 10. But this is great. I think it gets a lot of flack for being one of the entry levels, but it's like the scale of it is astounding. Like they did like such a ridiculous job with it. And the world building of it is really cool. So I like it, but I'm going to say no.
What happened?
It's fine. All right. Maxwell.
No, Chris fixed it. That's what happened.
Oh.
I think.
So
I think Chris fixed it. Maybe.
I didn't know it was still broken.
It looks good to me.
Well, it was, but I did a good job of hiding the remaining brokenness.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chris fixed it.
So
it's okay.
My thoughts on Thor are pretty similar to Kristen. Keeping in mind, again, that I like just about all of these movies. It is sort of lower down on my overall list, but I still think it's a beautiful film. Really well directed by Kenneth Branagh. I think he was the perfect choice to launch this franchise because more so than the other Thor movies, this movie has a Shakespearean quality to it. Very much high drama between a king and his two sons. I love all the Dutch angles. I know it gets a lot of flack for that, but I think it's perfect. I think Patrick Doyle's score for this is one of the best scores in the MCU. But much like Christian, there is another Thor film I'd like in the list, and this still wouldn't be in my personal top 10, so it's a respectful no.
Jonathan.
That brings us to Sean.
All right, so I loved this film when I first saw it. I have watched it recently. I don't know if I still feel super strongly about it. But what are the votes currently?
2 no's.
2 no's.
2 no's. Then I'm going to give it a yes.
Well, it's a no from me, dog, and that's not because I don't like the movie. I actually like the movie quite a bit.
You guys really don't know how to make people use their kills, do you?
I think we're trying to make this not like a 5-hour episode.
And I already have my sights set on something that I'm going to kill if we get to it. So, I'm just, I like Thor a lot. I think it was a great introduction. I think it has some of the best stuff. Why do I hear music?
Sorry, my computer's on the fritz.
Okay. All right. So overall, it was just like, it's a good introduction for Thor. I think Branagh does a great job. I think it sets up a lot of great stuff for some of the movies moving forward, but it's not a top 10 MCU, but it's still a lot of fun. The Shakespearean quality rocks. The score is great. Yeah.
Before we get to Eric, whose vote doesn't matter at this point, today's podcast is brought to you by Virginia Diner Peanuts, the finest peanuts you can get. They are salty, crunchy, fresh, and delicious. Go to your local grocery store or website and get yourself some Virginia Diner Peanuts.
And the show's also brought to you by
Salty Nuts.
Novelty Movie Theater Cups.
Remember movie theaters?
I was at one on Friday. Privately. Eric, what are your thoughts on Thor?
Much like everyone else, I have no disrespect towards Thor. It's a no for me, but I think one of the things we don't value enough with this one is this one really sets up the Thor-Loki relationship and the fact that they had a horrible father. So the screenwriter did a really good job telling that story. It's what it boils down to is Odin is a horrible father.
And the two brothers handle it differently. So I believe... Is this the first one with the unanimous no?
I think so.
No, I voted
No,
yes.
Sean voted yes.
Oh, yeah,
you're
Sean
right.
was
You're right. This brings us to our next film, Captain America, the First Avenger. Also from 2011, directed by Joe Johnston. And for this one, we'll start with me. This film is fantastic. I think it is such a great introduction to the character of Steve Rogers. I think Chris Evans is perfect. Hugo Weaving is great. Sebastian Stan is fantastic. Haley Atwell is wonderful. I love its retro feel. It feels sort of like a pulpy adventure, much in the vein of an Indiana Jones film, which is why Joe Johnston was such a perfect choice to direct it. It's a great score, and you have such a great supporting cast too with Stanley Tucci and Tommy Lee Jones. I love this movie. It's an absolute yes for me. Sean?
I think that the relationship between the two of them, where we see it begin, like they're just, great friends from the start, and they do such a good job. Of course, I'm talking about Maxwell and I, and how I'm so glad to call Maxwell a friend, and this is a no from me. I don't like this movie.
Someone drop him out. Drop him out right now.
Not allowed.
You said that about Iron Man 1.
This is a
so you
safe
can drop
place.
yourself off, Patrick. Here's the thing, right? Like, this movie's fine, but
no, Jesus Christ, Sean.
I'm speaking. This movie's fine. My biggest hang up with this movie is the montages. As soon as the montages start happening, I go, all right, I'm good. I'm out. I think that there are other movies that do Captain America better. And that's any other movie that Captain America's in.
And as opposed to PJ, I, as the host of this evening, respect your opinion and take no umbrage because this is a safe space built on optimism and empathy. PJ obviously feels differently. He's a yes. I don't want to hear his anger. Eric.
I wanted to hear the anger, but
wait, hold on. I'm gonna step in on PJ real quick.
Okay.
I like the Rocketeer better than Captain America.
Nope.
Oh. I think PJ might be on board with that opinion.
I'm actually on board with that opinion. So.
I am in too.
I'm not.
And
so.
that opinion might have just swayed me. I'm going to go no on this one. As much as I love the Captain America trilogy, especially the relationships that this movie sets up, it is not the best one of the trilogy. And considering I think that is the best trilogy of the MCU so far. So this one is a no, because I can't have a top 10 that's all just Cap movies.
Kristen.
My reasoning is very similar to Eric's. It's my least favorite of the 3 Captain America movies, even though one of the Captain American movies is very much not like centered around him. I would say that the other one very much is, which is the reason I would say no to it in the top 10, just because I think, like Winter Soldier just does it better. Like I just appreciate the character more in that movie. Nothing against this movie. It's very high up in my list. And it's another one where the first time I watched it, I didn't like it, but the more I watch it, the more I like it. So nothing against this movie. It's great, but it's just not. Yeah.
With that being said, it's still going to make the top 10 because I am saving it.
Perfect.
You should have let Patrick burn his save.
I decided I want to save it, so I saved it.
So cold.
Is anyone going to kill it?
Nope.
It's not far enough down on my list to kill it.
And you can always kill
I can always kill it later.
All right. Well, the trauma has already begun. That brings us to the first team up of the series, Joss Whedon's The Avengers from 2012.
Is this Sean first, I think?
Yeah, Sean starts.
This kind of was the impetus for all this, right? It's hard to say we would have the MCU without the Avengers. And besides, you also have the great performance by Ashley Johnson as the love interest of Captain America. Everyone remembers Ashley Johnson as the love interest of Captain America.
Yeah.
Not that she...
There you go. Brandy says the game board says if something is saved, it cannot be killed.
Wait,
which
what?
Is true.
But then it also says saves/kills stack once.
I'm so confused. I thought we were allowed to kill a save.
I think if something is... I think that means if something is killed, it can be saved, but if something is saved, it cannot be killed.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I pressed the wrong button. I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, you saw my face for a second. Yes, it can be killed. If it does stack once, for example, this can be killed because it was only saved once. But it can be killed from the stack, and if it's saved again, it cannot be killed after that. So it can only stack once like usual. So if there's any confusion with that, just let me know.
Well, I'm confused because the written rules say something different than what you just said. That's what I'm confused about.
Oh, wait. So, Winter Soldier was saved. Yeah, it can't be killed.
It says if something is saved, it cannot be killed.
It can't be killed. Yeah. What was the
So you can save something that was killed, but you can't kill something that was saved.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
That's not how we played before.
I would like to challenge that on a
I would like
realistic
to use
level.
my challenge that I didn't use 3 weeks ago.
Okay. I'm going to take... Okay, so... All right. I'm not stopping.
Hey, viewers in the chat, are you feeling thoroughly unwound? Because I'm feeling like I'm on the verge of a second panic attack today from this bullshit.
Okay. So if Winter Soldier gets killed, it cannot be saved again. So
no,
it can only
the
stack
problem,
one.
Christopher, is that this isn't Winter Soldier.
Right.
Well, whatever this
we're
this
talking
movie
about
the first Avenger.
For
this game,
we
there's only
will
20.
We will go based on the rules that are written on the board.
Yes, we will.
So it can't be killed. Just do that for tonight. Okay, cool.
Great.
Audible.
Okay, Sean, you were talking about
frozen and
the
ice
Avengers.
in the ocean.
Well, since Captain America made it in, I'm gonna vote no on this one, even though I would have voted yes.
Okay.
I gotta
PJ?
save them spots for some other movies.
This is 100% a no from me. Kind of to what Eric was saying earlier, there's better Avengers movies essentially that I would much rather have on the list, and this one for me is the one that is overall the weakest. And I think also, like, looking back, the way that it was shot really has dated the movie in a way that I think is unfortunate. And yeah, it's a no from me.
Fair. Eric?
If you would have asked me like 5 years ago, yes, this is the top 10 MCU movie. But as time has gone on, it's gone lower and lower and lower down my personal rankings list. So that's a no for me.
Okay. Kristen?
Same reason as Eric's. I re-ranked for this, and it fell like 5 rank positions. So, I mean, that's the thing about the MCU. They always put out a new movie, and the new movie is always good. So eventually, things just kind of fall down the list.
That's fair. So yeah, like Evan said in the chat, obviously the elephant in the room is Joss Whedon and his toxic behavior. That's not impacting my decision. This one's borderline for me. I could have gone either way because it is like on my personal list right there in the middle, 10, 11, 12, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie I used to like more than I do now. I still think it's a fantastic team-up movie. The chemistry of the characters is great. Finally getting to see them on the screen together. It works really well. It's fun and witty. I love its use of Agent Coulson. There's a lot of positives about it, and I think it's a great watch. But it ultimately, everyone else said no, so I'll say yes just for the hell of it, even though it's not making the list, and that's fine. That is A-okay.
My favorite thing to do is go back and watch the trailer for that Avengers movie and then watch the trailers and see how Marvel has improved doing the trailers.
Oh, yeah, their trailer game is strong.
I will say the nice thing about it compared to some of the other Avengers movies, a couple which I do think are better than this, is there's something nice about it really just being a few characters, so they all get a lot of good focus other than Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye acted pretty heavily, but that's okay.
But that being said, Tony, Cap, Thor, Bruce, Natasha, all basically are co-leads.
Even Fury.
Fury, and even Coulson to an extent. They don't have, and Tom Hiddleston, they don't have other people to share the screen with.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is a real strong suit of it for me. But yeah, it's not going to make the list, and that's fine. I could have, predicted that going either way. This brings us to one of the more controversial MCU movies in the fandom at large. Although I have a feeling about what might happen here, and that is Iron Man 3, written and directed by Shane Black. This movie came out in 2013. It was the first one after the Avengers, and it really picks up with Tony dealing from the fallout and PTSD from his experience in the Battle of New York, particularly when he basically went up to space and was willing to sacrifice his life for the greater good. I believe we start with PJ on this one.
This is a hard yes for me, and I know that I'm not the only one who shares the opinion that this is the best movie in the Iron Man franchise. I think that it was one of the first times that we got to see a filmmaker that wasn't Joss come in and really do their own thing, because Joss as a filmmaker, no matter how unfortunate who he became, he got to make his movie, and it felt like a movie that you knew from him. Shane Black got to make a Shane Black movie, and that's a big reason why people don't like it. But I'm a big Shane Black fan, and this movie works on so many levels for me. It was a great reteam for him and Downey Jr. after Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and it was fun to see Shane Black get to play with superhero money. He got to make a $200 million project, and then Predator happened, but we pretended
we don't talk about that.
But Iron Man 3 is a hard yes for me.
Okay, Eric.
It's not a hard yes, but it's more like a soft yes. I really liked Iron Man 3. I think my favorite thing is one of the reasons why I wanted to go through is just because I remember everyone being so upset with what they did, tricking everyone to thinking with Ben was going to be sorry, can't talk right.
The Mandarin.
The Mandarin, and people just being so upset. I was like, no, You don't understand Shane Black. This was perfect. And also, why waste the big villain like him in the third movie of this trilogy?
Yeah.
I thought that was perfect, and it's just Robert Downey Jr. is great at this. It's probably his best.
You'll never see me coming.
And to Eric's point too, like now fans who wanted the real Mandarin are going to get it in Shang-Chi. So like, just Marvel coming through.
Yep. So it's a yes for me.
With a much more appropriate culturally actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kristen Smith.
I really like this movie. I actually, when I re-ranked it, it went up over the Avengers. So that's pretty cool for it, I guess. But yeah, I really like it. I really like the way that they portray PTSD in it. I think it's one of the better portrayals of that on film. I think they do a really good job of just giving Tony Stark a lot of character depth that he didn't have in like Iron Man 2. I think that you really see like inside of his persona a lot better so that you can like get into his head for when we get to Civil War. I think they do a really good job with this. I would say no. I don't think it's going to matter if I say no, because there's just a lot of other movies ahead of it in my list. And I just don't want to have like, at this point, we're going to have 3 Captain America movies and 2 Iron Man movies and 5 left for everything else.
See what happens.
Are you sure about that?
I have a feeling
there could be some killing coming up.
Yeah,
there could be some killing. I'm going to say no, but it's going to make it, and I'm not mad about it.
Okay. This, similar to PJ, is a hard yes for me. I think this is easily one of the very, very best MCU movies. Certainly the most underappreciated. I get to a certain point why some people feel burned by it, but its use of twists I found subversive and delightful. I think its depiction of Tony Stark is the best in the MCU other than perhaps Endgame. I think the action sequences are fantastic. The parachuting scene from the plane is one of my absolute favorite action scenes in the whole MCU. I think it's hilarious and witty and has very much its own energy. Of all of the MCU films, this is definitely in the top of the ones that feel like the filmmaker got to imbue their personal style into it, which I appreciate. And it has the best Iron Man score with finally Iron Man theme song that is hummable and catchy. Yeah, I love this movie. It's a hard yes for me. And I think Sean agrees.
You know, this film, they bait and switch you with the Mandarin. You know, it's kind of disrespectful to the character of the Mandarin. They also really disrespect the character of Aldrich Killian, who, if you're familiar with the comics, Aldrich Killian is in one page in the Iron Man comics, and he meets a very untimely end due to guilt and his own demons. I think their depiction of the Extremis Serum was really good. What are our votes at?
It's yours doesn't matter.
3-1.
My vote doesn't matter. Okay.
Yes, correct.
Look, if you want to hear my opinions on Iron Man 3, go ahead and go watch our top 10 favorite movies that we did 6 months ago.
Not joking.
The one other thing I want to say that I didn't is I absolutely love James Badge Dale in this movie.
Yeah.
He is one of the great MCU henchmen. I think he just oozes charisma and personality. And yes, Jeremy Miller. It is a good Christmas movie. It really is.
I think he's number 2 of my favorite henchmen.
Okay.
Fair.
So yeah, this is a big yes for me. I'm super glad it's made it. I thought with this crowd it would.
Well, then I'm also going to take this moment. Then, can we kill Iron Man since Iron Man 3 is now officially on the board?
I prefer Iron Man over Iron Man 3.
Yeah, but I'm killing it. So,
but I don't. That's disrespectful.
Kristen, if you'd like, you can use your save.
No, because I want to save something later that I think won't make it past other people.
So Patrick.
Well, as we learned today, things that get saved are invulnerable.
Yeah, but that makes me sad because this is dumb. Fine.
So,
Fine.
Patrick has killed the first Iron Man.
Fine.
You have anyone going to use their save? Nope. Okay, so we move Iron Man here to the graveyard, and this we'll put over here. and PJ does not have his kill anymore. And that brings us to the next film. I think this will be quick. This is Thor: The Dark World. And we will start with Eric.
I'm sorry. I can defend a lot of the MCU. I cannot defend this one. You raise Christopher Eccleston? No. I say
100.
no, sir.
Kristen.
I think I like this more than a lot of people do, but it's still a no. It's like bottom tier.
Sean's gonna save it. Look at him.
This is the other movie alongside the Incredible Hulk in the MCU that I would pertain to call bad. I think it's a mess. I think it's shockingly lacking in energy. Everything about it just feels dull. And with that cast and this world, it's such a shame.
I mean, it was enough that Natalie Portman quit the franchise.
Yeah. It's just a mess, and it's a no. And that brings us to Sean.
Sean, what are you doing?
I'm gonna give this one a yes. I think that this film is got a Doctor Who actor in it.
To be fair, Christopher Eccleston has pretty much gone on record saying that this is the only role he's embarrassed about doing.
Also, it's just I'm now realizing as we're having this conversation, this filmmaker abused 2 separate Doctor Who actors in 2 separate franchises.
Indeed.
And drove them into the ground because he used Matt Smith in Terminator Genesis also.
Yep.
Genesis? Terminator Genesis?
Genesis?
So, Sean, are you...
It's going to be a no for me.
Okay. Sean tried so hard. And he got so far, but in the end...
that brings us really to Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And we start with...
I believe that's Kristen.
Kristen.
Oh,
Yep.
Kristen.
Fuck yes. It was my number one. It switches in between 2 movies for my number one. I love this movie. It is the perfect marriage of comic book movie with like spy thriller. It's like one of the first times where the MCU branched out and did like a genre film outside of like, we're just going to make a comic book movie. They made like a spy thriller. It was so good. I love this movie. It's up there. Yes.
I completely agree with Kristen. I think this movie is incredibly good. Has the best action sequences in the MCU, hand-to-hand combat, beautifully choreographed fight scenes. You got Frank Grillo. You got Robert Redford. You finally get the Winter Soldier, who is awesome. Elements of this feel very similar to Chris Nolan's Dark Knight movies in its like grittiness and street level fights. I think the narrative is thrilling. Its use of spy tropes and what ends up happening to S.H.I.E.L.D. I also love, I think the team up of Captain and Black Widow is fantastic in this movie. I love it to pieces. I don't want to tip my hand about where I hope it gets ranked, but yeah, this movie is amazing. Sean?
I had mentioned that I don't know the actor's name, and I frankly don't care. But I had mentioned that Extremis Boy was my second favorite henchman. Frank Grillo is my favorite henchman.
Oh yeah,
he's
As
just
Crossbones.
the best as Crossbones. Yeah,
Or Agent Rumlow.
which I'm
Yeah,
super
Rumlow.
excited that he's coming back for What If.
And
Me
the
too.
other guy too, Sitwell too. Sitwell's real
Yeah.
good too. I like
Yes.
I like all the subtle
Because
like
Sitwell was on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show for a bit as well.
Yeah,
And
and
the
he was in
Marvel
the
one-shot.
and he was in the one shot shorts.
Yeah, he did 2 of them, I think, right?
Yep.
You know, I love like Sebastian Stan is just fantastic. This
Who's
was the
Stan?
movie that made me go back. This was the movie that made me go back and read all the Winter Soldier comic runs from the mid 2000s.
Yeah,
Just
the
love it so
Brubaker
much.
era. So good.
Mhm. So yeah, it's a
Yeah, we,
definite in for me.
We have a Winter Soldier hot toy.
Ooh, that's hot.
I mean, yeah, they're all hot, right?
PJ?
It's a hard yes for me. I love this movie. I think this was such a great way to meld in like the spy thriller genre, do something a little different with the series, really lean in on that Brubaker run. The Winter Soldier stuff is expertly handled. I think it was a great way to actually do that series with that storyline.
My lovely, beautiful wife, Elizabeth, in the chat said Bucky Barnes / the Winter Soldier is her favorite character in all of Marvel.
And I mean, I don't think Liz is wrong, and I think they've done a great job with it. And, what a cool way to do all of it and make it work for, obviously, fans who knew who the Winter Soldier was going to be, but for people who didn't know the comics. And then when it's revealed to be what it is, it's a great moment. The action in this is fantastic. The Russo brothers going from, Arrested Development and Community and... what was that movie that they did with Owen Wilson?
Yumi and Dupree.
Yeah, Yumi and Dupree. Yeah. To this? Are you kidding me? What an upgrade. And this has got the best action in the MCU probably next to Endgame. So, yeah, how do you say no to this?
Eric, are you going to dissent and say no to this?
To quote Anthony Mackie, who had a wonderful debut in this film, cut the check. It's a yes.
Yeah.
A unanimous yes.
It's the first unanimous we've had so far, right?
When movies are good,
That brings us to our next film, Guardians of the Galaxy, directed by James Gunn from 2014. This came out just a few months after The Winter Soldier, and I would say for the start of the MCU, this was definitely their biggest swing. The least well-known characters, the first time we were traveling to space for an extended period. Relatively ensemble of unknown actors or actors that they're taking a big chance on, like Chris Pratt leading a franchise, Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
I'm going to go first. I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. I think it holds up so well. It has such an incredible energy, a sense of style and color. The use of music is just remarkable. The ensemble that I was just talking about, they are all great. I think there's so many iconic moments, so much great world building. You have John C. Reilly and Peter Serafinowicz in small little roles. It's just delight after delight in this movie. It's an absolute yes for me. Sean?
All right. I'm not ultra high on this movie. It's going to be a yes for me for now. I love that this movie is such a big swing. I kind of have to the reason I'm saying it that way. I haven't really planned ahead as to what else I want in this top list. So it's going to be a yes for me for now. I reserve my right to use my kill later. I really like this movie. Are there movies I'd rather see in this top 10? Possibly. This was another movie that made me go read the revival run of the Guardians. It's very good. And I read a lot. I read pretty deep into it. I read all the way up to the point where Venom was a Guardian of the Galaxy. This movie does it so well. This movie approaches the property well, and it does a nice job of updating it as well too. So I like it a lot. I think that I have personal reasons why I probably like it less than some other films, but yeah, it's going to be a yes. A begrudging yes.
Okay. PJ?
This is absolutely one of my favorite MCU films, period. This is actually the only time as a critic, I was ever credited in a TV spot with one of my quotes was for Guardians of the Galaxy. So I love this movie. I was in Hall H when they brought the first footage from the movie, and when I saw Rocket on screen for the first time, Rocket's been one of my favorite Marvel characters forever. I was one of the only people who actually read the old school Guardians runs at that time, and I cried because I couldn't believe they were taking a swing. And James Gunn did something so incredible with this cast, got to do something so different. It really introduced us to the cosmic side of the MCU that we really hadn't seen yet. It's a great movie. The soundtrack is fucking incredible. This movie rocks. It belongs on this list.
I agree. Eric?
Oh, I absolutely love this movie. I will fight to my last breath anyone who wants to oppose this movie because I love it so much. The fact that it came out at the time with the whole Star Wars franchise where a lot of fans felt let down, and then this came in and breathe this fresh air into the sci-fi world where it's like, yes, this is a sci-fi movie everyone can get behind. And the fact you have a talking tree and a talking raccoon, and it becomes one of the best movies of this cinematic universe. Hard yes.
Awesome. Kristen?
Yeah, I would challenge anyone to find like a better cultivated soundtrack. It is like phenomenal, honestly. And it went from like songs that like a lot of people didn't know about, and then immediately everyone was like, that's one of my favorite songs. Like everyone loves the soundtrack. I love this movie. I think it's great. I mirror what a lot of other people have said. I'd also like to point out that James Gunn. I can't. I wanted to make the joke, but I was
gonna say you were gonna make that joke, weren't you?
Damn, I really wanted to. Damn. James Gunn does a really great job of doing self-deprecating humor in a way that isn't obvious, like self-aware, self-deprecating, but it's not like obvious that the actors are playing into that. Like, I think it's just a really good take on making a comedic movie that doesn't feel like hammy.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's a yes.
So everyone said yes, although one person begrudgingly. So Guardians of the Galaxy makes the list.
Hell yeah.
Which brings us to Avengers Age of Ultron, the second Avengers film directed by Joss Whedon. This one came out in 2015. We will start with you. Me? No, I started last.
You just went. So that would be
Sean. I thought Chris did. Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, Jonathan.
Okay, so I really wanted to hear everyone else's arguments about this film before I started.
I mean, I'll start if you don't want to start.
No, I got this. Too bad. It's my big moment. All right. I really like this film. James Spader is fantastic. We get the twins, their introduction. You get Wanda. You get sort of Pietro. I don't know. I don't think Quicksilver was great in the film, but we do get a nice arc for the twins. I think this is the best use of Hawkeye in a film. I think we all have that moment of Vision picking up the hammer that was just like a holy fuck moment that's set up so well in the start of the film, where you've got the crew sitting around and they're all picking up the hammer. Yeah, you've got the shoehorn Civil War lead in. You have the shoehorn. And actually, I don't think the Civil War lead in is that shoehorned. I think the Civil War lead in is done really well.
It's very organic.
But it looks worse because of the Thor Ragnarok lead in that now we know doesn't actually lead into that movie that well, because they kind of changed what that movie was in production. Brandy in the chat says she fell in love with Wanda in this film. I think it's done really, really well. This is a yes for me.
It's gonna be a
Hi, Jill. What happened?
Chris is doing stuff. So I really like this movie. I've been high on saying that I always liked this more than the first. However, there are still two other Avengers movies left that need to be on this list, in my opinion, that Ultron doesn't have to be there. As much as I love James Spader in the role, I think he's actually one of the best villains in the MCU. But we've only got, 6 spots left? I don't want to give it with this one, so it's going to be a no from me.
Okay. Eric?
I've had a strange relationship with this movie. I saw it opening night on my honeymoon at Disney, and I was like, this is great. I'm living in the moment. I love this movie. Second, we came back from our honeymoon. Our friend picked us up, and we went to the movie theater, saw it a second time, and I was like, I now have critiques of this film. And over years, it's gone up and down. It's back on an upswing for me because of WandaVision. James Spader is great in it. It's just, when you look at the whole MCU, it's not even one of the best Avengers movies, so it's a no for me.
Okay, Kristen?
This is the movie at the bottom of the list of movies that I think are top tier MCU movies. And let me preface that 21 out of 23 MCU movies I consider top tier. So saying that it's at the bottom of that list is still really good. I really enjoy this movie. It's just there are a lot of MCU movies that I think do a really, really great job. So it's like nothing against the movie. They just made a lot of good movies. So it's a no for me. but I still like it.
Yeah, I really enjoy this movie too. I think it gets a bit of a bad rap. I think it does some really interesting things. I think Ultron's fantastic, and James Spader's vocal performance is just so good. It's definitely one of the messier MCU movies, but I also think it's also one of the ones that explores some of the more interesting and complex themes. I love the introduction of Vision, the twins. It does a lot of good stuff, and it also has some of the most enjoyable hangout moments in all of the MCU, like the party towards the beginning when they're all just shooting the shit. Stan Lee is there. They're all trying to lift the hammer. So I want to make it clear how much I like this movie while also saying no, I don't want it on the top 10. So, and I believe that means it doesn't make it because only Sean said yes.
I would like to clarify that Chris has fixed the text on the board to allow me to do this.
Wait, what?
He's trying to save it.
Oh.
But then I get my save back, don't I?
Yes. You do.
So are you doing that?
Are you doing that?
You get your save back?
Yeah,
I'm gonna read the
save back.
You know what? I'm gonna
You
go ahead
do.
and read the rules. Let's go ahead and
if someone kills or saves something, and then someone saves or kills that, then you get your save or kill back.
Chris, I'm gonna rewrite these rules later. These are very arcane and very.
So, Sean, are you killing it or are you not?
We'll moving on.
Okay.
He's gonna wait. He's gonna wait to see what comes down the line.
So Avengers Age of Ultron hits the graveyard, and that brings us to Ant-Man. This one came out in 2015, directed by Peyton Reed. Bit of a troubled production history because it was well documented that Edgar Wright was going to direct this film, and I think him leaving and I don't think less talented, frankly, but less beloved in internet nerd fandom director was hired on. Yeah, that brings us to Ant-Man. PJ, you start.
Dude, I really like this movie. It's so much fun. I thought they put Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas in an MCU movie. Like, you couldn't ask for more random casting of like a buddy duo. And it's really enjoyable. The score is fantastic. It's like a really good heist movie. It's got some really fun characters, but it's not top 10 MCU for me. I don't really think it has a spot on the list right now because there's still quite a few movies we have to go through. So I'm going to have to say no, but I really, really like the movie.
Okay. Eric?
The Ant-Man movies are a guilty pleasure of mine just because I just adore Paul Rudd. I find him so damn charming, and he is so good in these movies. And this one's probably the best of the two because it is at heart just a heist film, which nothing wrong with that, but it's not a top 10 Marvel movie. So that's a no for me, dog.
Okay. Kristen?
Yeah, this movie has a lot of like laugh out loud moments. It's also just really well acted, and they get the character really well down. It's also Kara's favorite superhero is Ant-Man for some reason. Like, good luck finding Ant-Man, like anything for your child. Anyway, yeah, Marvel, can you like make some Ant-Man stuff for girls? Thank you. Anyway, yeah, it's a no. Kara will be mad at me later. I still really like it, but there are a lot of movies.
You don't have to tell her.
She
can go back and see this later, though. It's on the internet. It'll never go away now.
She's gonna be like, Mom, how dare you?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what everyone has said. I think it's a delightful movie. Paul Rudd is fantastic. It's one of the lighter and sillier movies, and I think both Ant-Man movies, and spoiler alert, I do like the sequel better than the first one. They have an important place in the MCU in that they have both pretty much been positioned after big epic movies as a nice cool down. You know, it's fun. It's a heist movie. I love Evangeline Lilly. I was so happy that she got cast into the MCU. But for purposes of this list, I am going to pass.
I would like to parrot exactly what Maxwell said.
Okay.
All right. So it's not going to make it, but can we re-clarify the rules?
So
I have the rule document.
I've read through the rules document 4 times during this discussion.
Okay.
So one thing that has been, and this is why I'm saying I'm going to rewrite these rules as someone who plays way too much Dungeons and Dragons, who has played way too much Magic the Gathering, who plays way too many board games in his spare time. These rules are written really, really poorly. This is my challenge.
Chris can hear you.
This, I understand. This is going to go to the PJCN legal team. We're going to get a group together to discuss it. We'll have to have the game writer, Chris Clark, along with a couple former Survivor Island champions to discuss this.
Okay, your speech is done because we have time. But let's clarify. I just want to clarify the rules for tonight.
The rules for tonight, we're going to stick with what we said at the start, in that
what's up,
if
Jake?
something is saved, as was written on the initial game board we started with, is if something is saved, it cannot be killed. Is that what you want to stick with, Maxwell?
I mean, Chris has already changed the rules as written, but
we started the game
know.
with one assumption. We should stay with that assumption.
Yes.
Okay, so once something has been saved, it cannot be killed.
So the first Avenger is okay. It will be there forever.
Forever, ever?
It's the only one that is safe, technically.
So far.
Okay, so Ant-Man did not make it, and that brings us to
Womp womp.
Captain America, Civil War, the Russo brothers return. I know people like to make the argument that this is really an Avengers movie by another name. I don't agree with that. Certainly, I think there are a lot of other characters rounding out the ensemble, but at the heart of the story is about Cap and Bucky. Cap is still clearly the lead of this film. It gives us the introduction to Black Panther. It has some great action. And I believe with this one, we start with Kristen.
Oh, we do? I thought I was the next. Okay. This is
Eric, wait, PJ, you started Ant-Man?
Yeah.
Okay,
Eric.
so Eric, we start with Eric.
Okay. For everyone who thinks this is Avengers 2.5, you are the
Matt said, I
fool.
thought that the first Iron Man was saved. No one had saved it. Someone killed it.
I killed it. I killed it. Specifically me. I will own
But
that.
can it be saved after it's killed?
It can.
So no rules as written. This is what I was getting to, in that the rules doc needs to be rewritten. Rules as written, no. Rules as written, saves and kills happen at the time of nomination.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I see. Okay, I don't mind that rule.
That's what I'm saying. That the problem, the way that we've been playing this game and the way the rules document
doesn't match
is written,
up with the rules.
do not match up.
It's true.
So do we want to just go with our own rules or the rules doc?
We're making our own rules today.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just go with what we've been doing and how we've played this in the past, because I know that we have quite a few movies to get through still.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, yeah. Starting with Eric then. Eric.
This is going to be a hard yes for me, only because of the simple fact during the marketing of this, I had a tweet. I tweeted out my support for Team Cap, and I got a reply from the late great Chadwick Boseman, publicly shaming me and making me feeling really bad about being Team Cap. And so that will always have a special place in my heart.
Sean, have Jill figure out the rules while she's back there. Okay, Kristen.
We're getting to a sticky point where I don't know if I should say yes or not, but I'm gonna say yes because I really like this movie.
Mhm.
I think that Max, you're absolutely right about it not being like just another Avengers movie. It's clearly a Captain America movie with an Iron Man B plot that I think they do an incredible job spreading the wealth between so many different characters, not even just characters that we know, but introducing new characters into it and doing that well. Like, you feel invested in every new character that they introduce. And I think that's really hard to do in a movie that has this scope. I just think it's done really, really well. It's got an incredible score as well. And yeah, I really like it. So my vote's yes.
I said everything I feel about the movie at the top, but I'm going to say no. This one, it would be on the borderline for me. I think it's my least favorite of the Captain America trilogy, while also still thinking it's a damn awesome comic book movie, but I'm still going to say no.
All right, so I'm going to disagree with everything Maxwell said in that I do think this is Avengers 2.5 in that this movie does such a great job of showing the interplay between Tony and Cap, with really diving into Bucky and what makes Bucky tick. Yeah, Baron Zemo is
awesome.
Kind of a little bit of a weird villain from what we've seen in the MCU.
Who got his job done?
He's a weird villain in that he's a little different than what we've seen from the MCU before, but I like him. He's great. This is a yes for me for sure.
I mean, I can't really say anything more. It's a yes from me. I love this movie. I think that we get Spider-Man and Black Panther in the same movie, also trajectorying us forward to Infinity War and Endgame. Like, it's an integral part of everything that we need, like, this series to be. Yeah, it's a yes for me.
So, based on the votes, Civil War makes the list, but in the spirit of Tim Franco, I'm killing this.
That's fine. I can also save it, right?
You can. Yeah. I think it's a waste of a save.
Why would it be a waste of a save unless someone else is going to try to kill something else later?
We might.
Someone might.
I want to get back at you for Iron Man still, so...
But my argument for Iron Man has literally been your argument for everything else, so it makes no sense to get revenge on me.
I disagree. I want to get revenge. It's going to happen.
For using your own argument.
I just want to remind you, if we are playing by the rules,
you are refunded your kill by this save.
Yes.
Correct. But someone else could put something up that you are going to regret.
Oh, yes.
Down the line.
If you use it now. If you use your save now and then there's something else you love.
But by saving it, you permanently save Civil War.
Sean, you should save Civil War.
I don't feel that strongly about it.
What about Eric? Eric, do you like Civil War that much that you would save it?
There's something I'm afraid is going to get killed later that I really want to say.
They've got me nervous, but like I really want Civil War to still like be here.
I'm going to kill your stuff so hard if you use your save right now.
How beautifully my psychological mind games have worked on PJ. And with a really nice assist from my twinsy Kristen over there. Thanks, babe.
Have you done the thing yet where when your computer starts up, Eric, he reaches his hand out for candy?
Eric, if you save it, I got you.
They're making deals. This isn't Survivor. You can't make deals at a challenge.
I got you.
If you jump down, I promise I won't vote you out at tribal council.
Don't trust PJ.
What?
I feel like I can.
Do you really want 3 Captain America movies in the top 10?
Oh my god.
Patrick, do it.
He did. Eric saved it. It's already done.
For shame.
Eric saved it?
Eric saved it.
At the very least, I get back my kill. And Civil War has been saved. So
Eric,
the beat goes on. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Brian said we should add a countdown clock.
I would love it.
All right. That brings us to our next film, Doctor Strange. This movie came out in 2016, directed by Scott Derrickson. This brought the MCU into the world of the mystical arts. Benedict Cumberbatch, Rachel McAdams, Tilda Swinton, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Mads Mikkelsen, just a murderer's row of awesome talent, many of whom you would not necessarily expect to find in a comic book movie, are populating this strange, weird world. And I believe, who starts on this one?
Me?
Kristen, let's go.
Yeah, I really like this movie. I really like it a lot. Many times many. There's parts of it that are kind of clunky, and I don't really care. It hits for me, and I will unapologetically say yes to this movie being in the top 10.
I am also going to agree with Kristen. This is the other movie I had in the back of my mind to use my save on.
Same.
If it wasn't going to make. I think this is one of the most singular entries in the MCU. I think it by far has the most innovative action. The sequence in New York when the city continues to fold over and over itself is visually stunning and absolutely awesome. I think Benedict as Doctor Strange, whilst such obvious casting, is so spot on that he just immediately embodies this character. And he starts out as an asshole, and I actually think that's really interesting. He's arguably, of all the MCU superheroes, the one character who, when you first meet him, is not that likable. And part of his origin and journey is discovering discovering how to be a better person, what's more important, and also learning how to go backwards and forwards in time, open up portals, use all sorts of sick magic. On top of that, and this is my final note, I think this has, if not the best, one of the very, very, very best scores in the MCU. What Michael Giacchino wrote is so
good.
Singular and eerie and whimsical. And as upset as I am that he's not returning to compose the sequel, the only other person who I think could have worked in this mold and maybe even top it, they got, and that's Danny Elfman.
Yes.
Sean?
So I don't like things that involve magic or fantasy or mysticism at all.
Your favorite movies are space wizards.
I don't like strong male leads with good facial hair. I think I would look terrible in a Doctor Strange costume, even though they're very, very cheap and I could have bought one at any time.
I don't want to hear about the stuff that you and Jill are doing in your.
Yeah. So no. So like I like Doctor Strange is one of the characters that like I would love to own a Doctor Strange costume just because it's so fucking cool. Like I love Doctor Strange. I love this movie. I've never read a Doctor Strange comic. I know nothing about the character outside of the movie, but this movie just for me is in such a good spot of like transitioning the MCU to another realm, so to speak, I guess. This is a definite yes for me.
Wow.
Your answers confuse me so much.
He's doing a bit.
I get so confused.
Are you doing a bit where you say the same exact words that you type in the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
PJ, currently Doctor Strange is in with 3 yeses, but I'm curious
it was a yes
to see where
for
this
me
goes.
too, because I really like this movie quite a bit. Like, it's different, it's fun. It gave us the mystical realm of the MCU, which we really hadn't gotten to explore yet. I think that the opening alone is just like visually one of the coolest bits in it. Mads Mikkelsen is a badass in this movie. Cumberbatch is great in this movie. The score is fantastic. I like the way it works, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a yes for me.
Yeah, awesome. Eric?
Go ahead and move my kill token on Doctor Strange. It's a good film. It is not a top 10 MCU movie. And you talk about how it's a character you don't like to begin with. You mean Tony Stark was likable to start with?
He was.
And
he
you
was
talk about
charismatic.
there's some great cinematography and there's some great CGI, but it's literally just wizards fist punching each other with occasional magic coming out.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, it's not a top 10 MCU movie.
You're not a top 10 MCU movie.
I would say I am because I'm Civil
War. So Sean, PJ, and Kristen all still have saves. Is anyone going to save it? Now's the only time to do so.
Brandy.
Maxwell, I have a question for you, Maxwell.
Yeah.
Is Homecoming gonna? Oh wait, you're gonna do it, Kristen. Never mind.
That's Sean.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sean
I'm totally. Sean's gonna do it. Okay.
Sean did it. Good job, Sean. Good job.
Eric, you got your kill back in case we need it for anything.
I would have done it, but Sean did it first.
Okay, can I just say something? I am currently under the influence of something.
Okay.
and I'm having a side effect of it that I rarely ever get, and that's paranoia.
Oh no.
I don't know if I'm going to get stabbed from behind if my wife is about to leave me, or if something's going to happen in this game that makes me really upset. And maybe it's because something almost happened that just was about to make me really upset. But I'm going through the whole experience right here, y'all. Whole experience.
Eric almost sent you straight down a rabbit hole.
Oh my
It's
God,
okay.
Eric, you
Sean
were
and
about
I
to
would have saved it for you.
Whew.
All
Also,
right.
I just want to add, I rewatched Doctor Strange just yesterday, and it's a movie that every time I watch, I love more.
It's so good.
So good. So good.
The first time I watched it, we went to London, and so we watched it a whole weekend before everyone in the United States.
How about this, Sean? Let's make a deal.
That was pretty dope.
You and I cosplay as Husky Doctor Strange is in love together.
Sean, put Iron Man back. What are you doing? Sean, stop
No,
it.
stop! Wait, we have so many more. Stop
yeah,
it.
we still have to finish this.
Stop
Bad,
it.
Sean.
Okay, our next film is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. James Gunn returned to direct this film. Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell joined the cast.
Eric looks like
The
he wants to kill
introduction
someone.
of one of my favorite new MCU characters, Pom Klementov, joined. Who starts here? Me?
Yes.
Yes.
You talk
So,
first.
this is another one that's borderline for me. I love it. I think it's a great sequel. I think the villain is fantastic. Kurt Russell is top tier MCU villains. I think it hits a hell of an hit.
You can do it. I believe in you. I believe in
It's a
you.
hell of an emotional punch in the final act. And I think the soundtrack, if not as good, is almost as good. That when that Fleetwood Mac song fucking hits, when the chain hits, like, oh my God. But in the interest of where the list is at, and believing that the first is the superior one, I will pass.
I'm not going to waste anyone's time. No.
I can't believe I made it through that. Oh my God.
I'll be honest with you guys.
Love you, Max.
Maxwell, do you want to give me the rest of the deck so that you don't have to worry about that part?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
So this is a movie that I have a real weird relationship with because I clearly adore the first one so much. And when I saw this one, I didn't love it. I felt pretty torn, if I'm honest. And it's one of the MCU movies I revisit the least. I have learned to like it more over time, but it is not my favorite, unfortunately, for how much I like it. So it's a no for me.
Eric.
Oh, this is a hard yes for me. This is a top 10 MCU movie for me. The soundtrack is definitely better than the first one. And the basic story of Star-Lord dealing with who is his father. Is it Ego or is it actually Yondu, the guy who actually helped raise him? That whole third act sequence of him's like, I may not have been your father, but I'm definitely your daddy. And then the funeral at the end, that does not help some people dealing with the grief of losing their father. I don't know what will, especially when you have Father and Son by Cat Stevens playing in the background. This movie knocked it out of the park. I know a lot of people don't like it as much as the first one, but this is definitely a top 10 MCU movie for me.
Okay, awesome. I mean, the funny thing is, I don't disagree with anything you said about it, other than I voted no. You're spot on with everything you said. Kristen?
Yeah, I really like this movie. It's another one that's at the bottom of the movies I really love in the MCU. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that people want me to rank things, and I don't like ranking things that sets off my anxiety. So while I'm saying no, I still really like this movie, and I think the beats that hit so hard. And it's one of the more emotional MCU movies that they've made, and it really deals with a lot of things that they don't deal with in other movies. So for that, I applaud it. And because of Mary Poppins, I will always love it. But also, it's a no.
All right, so it got four no, so it didn't make the list. Now, just out of curiosity, so Eric, you've used your save because you saved Civil War. Theoretically, if you
I
had been
saw
given
my
a
save,
choice,
I would throw it on Guardians.
Okay, interesting to know. So, because he's already used his save, he cannot use it. And since the other four of us voted no, Guardians 2 hits the graveyard, which brings us to Spider-Man Homecoming. After being introduced in Civil War, Tom Holland gets to take center stage as Spider-Man. This film is directed by John Watts. You have Michael Keaton playing a villain, Zendaya just showing the world how fucking awesome she is. Jacob Batalon is hilarious. Martin Starr, just so many delightful elements. Am I starting this one?
No, you just started the last one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The
Sean.
chat is bringing up a really important point here. That PJ was supposed to help Eric.
No, they didn't make that deal.
Yeah, Eric saved Civil War in exchange for Pat's.
It's fine.
Nope, because we're going by the rules where the time has passed wherein you can.
Right, I know
resave.
he can't. I'm just saying that the chat.
No, we're going with the rules where we can kill or save late because that's how we've been playing.
Okay.
Hey. Well, no, you can kill late. You can't save late. You've never been able to save late.
Hey, them's the rules. It's okay.
I know. I'm just the
Eric,
chat brings up a good point.
It's okay.
All right. Civil War or Homecoming for me is the best depiction of Spider-Man ever in film. It's not depressing. It's not weirdly trying to be cooler than he is. The relationship between Peter and Ned and MJ are great. Vulture, in my opinion, is the best is one of the best villains. It sticks around for me. This is an absolute yes.
Awesome. Paja?
I echo Sean 100%. This was the Spider-Man I waited my entire life to see on screen. I finally got the teenage version of Peter Parker, like dealing with high school drama and trying to also be a hero, but also in the grand scheme of what it's like to be a teenage superhero on the streets of New York when you want to be an Avenger because you think that you can do better things, and having to learn that sometimes being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is okay too. This movie rocks. Michael Keaton is fucking terrifying as the Vulture and has one of the greatest moments in the entirety of the MCU when he reveals himself to Peter in the car with the gun. It is so good. This movie rocks.
Awesome. That brings us to Eric.
Simple and sweet. 2 thumbs up. Michael Keaton is probably the best Spider-Man villain we've seen on screen. Sorry, William Dafoe.
Kristen.
I agree. Best Peter Parker depiction. I also really appreciate Miles Morales. So it's hard to say it's the best Spider-Man, but it is the best Peter Parker. And I think it does the best Peter Parker and the best Spider-Man, which neither of the other 2 depictions have done. What?
I don't want to step on what you were saying. I think that I disagree with this strongly. This movie took a ton of risks.
Did I say that?
No, not you. Look at the comment.
Oh, sorry.
No. That's why I said I didn't want to step on what you're saying, but I don't agree with Jeremy saying that there's no risks in the movie at all. I highly disagree with that, and I think, again, to the point, like, that whole sequence with Keaton where he's going to kill a teenager, like, that was one of the darkest moments in the entirety of the MCU. I disagree with that.
To echo really quickly, the biggest risk of all is actually rebooting Spider-Man for a second time after people got tired of it.
And making Aunt May hot was a huge risk.
Oh yeah, and not shoehorning in the intro, doing another intro story for Spider-Man. He is already Spider-Man when you start, and they don't talk about Uncle Ben at all, and it pissed a lot of people off. But that is a huge risk because it's such a big part of who Peter Parker is, but making it so that he's a person who has kind of already dealt with the grief of losing his uncle, and so he's not bringing it up all the time, is something that was a huge risk to the story as well. And then the MJ thing, which also pissed people off, was also a huge risk.
So, Kristen, are you a yes?
Oh yeah, I love this movie.
Maxwell?
Yeah, I echo what everyone's saying. It's a big yes for me. I I don't know if it's my favorite live action Spider-Man or not. I also think Raimi's Spider-Man 2 is fantastic, but I do think this is by far the best live action Peter Parker, which is a distinction.
Mhm. Yep.
This movie is joyful. It is warm. It uses high school so well. I mean, the obvious reference point is John Hughes, but it also reminded me a lot of the 90s teen comedies I love, like 10 Things I Hate About You. Tom Holland is delightful. And yeah, Michael Keaton is incredible. And the twist, the way he fits in to the movie, it genuinely surprised and shocked me. And that doesn't happen often. And Michael Keaton is so menacing and charming in this role. Everything about it is just a big win for me. The soundtrack's awesome. Giacchino, again, killing it with a fantastic score. And I love how the score incorporates the traditional da-na-na, da-na-na. Just so good. It's a big yes for me. Oh, Time Franco says, I heard PJ didn't help Eric. I can tell you there are future repercussions to this decision. You've been warned. Oh, boy.
Time Franco's back.
Boy.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so Spider-Man Homecoming made the list with a unanimous vote. That brings us to Thor Ragnarok, directed by the New Zealand boy Taika Waititi. Chris Hemsworth returns for the third time in a Thor movie. Tom Hiddleston is there as well. This is the first time we see Doctor Strange in a second movie, a movie that's not his own. And then you have the great Kate Blanchett joining as the villain, and the incredible Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. Who starts here?
I think
Sean.
it's me. No,
No,
Sean
it's PJ.
Yeah, Sean started Spider-Man.
Sean started the Spidlerman.
I fucking love this movie. This was the movie that I'd wanted a Thor movie to be for so long. This is what happens when someone like Taika spent a lot of time in the 80s listening to Dio and Led Zeppelin and looking on the sides of vans with fantasy paintings on them. This movie is fun as fuck. The score is fantastic. Carl Urban and Kate Blanchett are such a great addition to the franchise, and Tessa Thompson kicks so much ass. Plus, we finally got the Planet Hulk storyline in a very different way. The Bruce Banner Thor relationship has become one of my favorites, which is great because the Science Bros of Stark and Banner was really fun. Now the mighty version of Hulk and Thor was also fun. This movie is fantastic. Yes, absolutely.
Kristen.
Eric.
Yes.
Eric.
So, spoiler alert, yes. But no, this is everything you want in an MCU movie. It's fun, it has great action, good performances for everyone. Soundtrack is amazing. And let's not forget Jeff Goldblum. Just Jeff Goldblum.
Night Buck.
Yeah.
Bye, Buck.
Bye, Buck.
Now we go to Kristen.
Yes.
No, it's
this
not,
is
Brian.
my current number one movie of the MCU. I say current because my ranking changes about every other day. I love this. And let's just stop for a second and look at the poster of this movie. Look at every other poster that you see on the screen right now, and then look at that thing. Look at it. That is the whole movie, is that. And I love it. I have that poster, and it's not hung up on my wall for some reason. And it's a sin. It's a mortal sin. I love
it
this
right
movie.
behind your desk.
What?
You should hang it right behind your desk.
But I really like that Interstellar poster. I don't love, I like the movie Interstellar. I don't love it, but that poster is really cool. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, we'll do it next time. No, I love this movie. It's so good, and they do so many different things with it, and they introduce so many new characters, but nothing ever feels like, why am I seeing another character? And even Carl Urban's character is so cool. I just love this movie. I could watch it any single day of the week. I could watch it 5 times in one day and I would still love it. It's such a good movie. It's so good.
So if this were suddenly soundtracks, I would say that Thor Ragnarok is hard rockin'.
Yeah.
This movie is if the cover art from a 1980s metal album came to life and was a movie. This movie, more so than perhaps any other movie in the entire MCU, has such a distinct energy and feel that is so clearly a direct representation of the filmmaker. This movie fucking rocks. It is one of the absolute best MCU movies. It blows the other Thor movies out of the water. Gila is an awesome villain. This movie is just fantastic. It's a yes for me. Sean. It makes the list unanimously. So here's where we're at. We have 2 spots left. 6 more films. Kristen still has her save and her kill. I still have my kill. PJ still has his save. Sully has his kill. And Eric has his kill. Robert. So there's a lot that still could happen. Good evening, Mr. Robert Adams. How are you? Which brings us to our next film, Black Panther. Starring the very sad, I hate saying this, late, great Chadwick Boseman, directed by Ryan Coogler, also featuring Michael B. Jordan, Forrest Whitaker, Sterling K. Brown, Lupita Nyong'o, Dania Guria, just so many incredible actors. And I believe I start on this one?
No. Kristen starts.
Kristen?
Yes. Eric starts? I start?
You start.
I start.
Kristen starts.
Who talks
Someone
first?
starts.
You talk first. I talk first.
Yeah, this is that moment. I really love this movie. I don't think there's going to be very many people who say they don't like this movie a lot. My biggest issues with this were the shoddy effects work in the climax, and that's like hardly a thing. I mean, the effects aren't great in that finale, and that's unfortunate. But it doesn't detract from how good the movie is. It's so well acted. The characters are all really great, and the world that you're introduced to is so fantastic. I have 3 movies that are ahead of it in my ranking that are not on the list yet. So based on just that, I have to say no. But it's a really good movie. Like it's phenomenal. But I like 3 movies more.
There is a reason this is the only MCU movie to have been nominated for the Best Picture Oscar, and that's because it's a brilliant film. Not only is it a great sort of origin or introduction to a new hero, it works as an epic. It has so much distinct culture. It has incredible performances, and it deals with themes on a level that I think are weightier than maybe any other Marvel film in its exploration of colonialism and individualism and that sort of thing. It's just incredible. Michael B. Jordan's performance in this film is extraordinary. The depths of raw pain he digs into, complemented by how fucking suave he is, especially in that museum heist sequence. It also has maybe the most incredible musical score in all of the MCU. What Ludwig Göransson did here is mind-blowingly good. It's an incredible movie. I think it's one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. And I don't disagree about the shoddy effects works in the final act for the rhinoceroses, but I also don't give a fuck.
Rhinos look so bad.
That and the tunnel, the effects work on like the actual Black Panther fight is distractingly bad on a big screen.
Oh,
and it
doesn't
look as bad on a home viewing. But at the same time, like it doesn't detract from the film. Like it's just kind of like a damn, I wish that had been better.
Yeah. And Jillian brings up a great point. In that it's the only movie where I actually agreed with the villain. Now I want to add a caveat to that in that I don't agree with his tactics. Violence.
I kind of agree with the Vulture. Again, not agree with his tactics.
Sure. His reasonings and motivations, Killmonger's, are deeply empathetic and relatable.
Zemo in Civil War is kind of in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, that takes us to you.
Are you a yes? I guess then.
Max is a yes.
Yeah, we're 1-1.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. I'm a no.
I just want to take this opportunity to point out the optics that if this doesn't make the list when it's so widely regarded is going to get us a lot of flack. And I would agree with that flack. I'm not trying to shame anyone into voting.
Why I wanted to kill Doctor Strange, but no.
Yeah,
what do I know?
Just for me for this list, it for me, I didn't like Black Panther very much. I liked it up until the third act, and the third act for me it completely falls apart. And for that reason, I can't put it on this list. When I'm going to a comic book movie, I'm going for the third act, right? Like, the film as a whole is beautiful. I love the film. I love Killmonger. I love M'Baku. But for me, yeah, I don't. It's not on my top 10.
Okay, PJ.
It's a yes for me. I fucking love this movie. Like, it's so good.
And Eric?
My only major issue with Black Panther was I felt it was a little uneven because of the two villains. Because Andy Serkis's Claw stealing pretty much the whole second act, and you have the Killmonger in the beginning and the end, made it a little uneven for me. But this is still a yes for me. This is the movie I wanted to go through and have Doctor Strange not in. So it's a yes.
So Black Panther makes it with 3 votes. That gives us 1 spot left and 5 more movies. So real quick, our next one is Infinity War. Who starts here?
You do.
Yeah, it's a yes. I think Infinity War is fantastic. It's the, culmination of everything they had been building up over the prior, what it was, 17, 18 movies at that point. It's funny. It's epic. It has a very Empire Strikes Back ending where our heroes don't win. And that makes it powerful. Finally seeing a lot of these characters meet for the first time is awesome. Alan Silvestri's score is great, and the work Josh Brolin did as Thanos is simply remarkable. The mocap work, but also the humanity and thoughtfulness he brings to a very, very evil character. It's just a beautiful film. Yes. Sean?
Did Sean freeze?
No, The problem is what's left.
Yes, I agree.
And that with what's left,
this is better than the other one.
This is better than Endgame for you?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, I disagree with that. I like Endgame better.
I mean, not by a significant margin, but yeah, I do believe so.
Yeah, I think my issue is that, like, the 2 movies on this list that I want to kill are Captain America and Civil War, and we can't.
Yeah, they're stuck there forever.
So, no.
Okay.
It has to be a no because I want Endgame.
Yeah, I'm at a place right now where I desperately want Endgame to be the last one on the list. So I like it considerably more than Infinity War because it was the culmination of everything that we were waiting for in that ending. So I'm gonna have to say no to Infinity War.
Oh,
Eric?
I'm gonna go yes with Infinity War. You can't have Endgame without Infinity War. Like, these two are attached at the hip, and the fact what the Russos were able to do to get all these characters together, to get them to work, to make sure you have these moments that shine. It's an important film to have in the MCU, so that's a yes for me.
Kristen, you have the deciding vote.
Why?
Everybody hated me for
hate-
Doctor Strange, huh?
I hate Doctor Strange is in my top 10.
I stand by Doctor Strange being on this list.
I stand by Doctor Strange.
So
that was not the movie that I would have cut out of this list. My current ranking has Endgame higher than Infinity War, but my ranking is very fluid, and those movies flip-flop quite frequently.
I'm also been known to be very fluid.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, I'm just going to go by my current ranking, which is Endgame over Infinity War. And so, no, but also, like, I hate that I'm saying no to Infinity War.
So, okay, so somehow it didn't make it. But
right, well, like, we have to make a choice.
Let's clarify a rules point here because I'm confused at where we're at. We are saying that after the 10 films make it, there's no kills? I thought you had said earlier that we can kill,
but I don't have anything I want to kill.
Yeah, I have one film I want to kill on this, but there's 3 protected films that I can't kill.
Right. That's the thing is the only movies I would kill on this list are ones that are protected. Does anyone else have anything they want to kill on the list that has a kill left?
Okay, here's what I'll say. If you'll be with it, and everyone has to agree unanimously, in the interest of feeling so strongly that Infinity War needs to be on the list alongside Endgame, which at this point we all know is what the other one is going to make it. We may not even have to. Will you allow me to unsave First Avenger?
I would.
I would if that meant getting that on there.
Yeah, I'd allow it.
I mean, I'll spend my kill on it. I mean, if we're gonna go back, this is why that rule of you can't save or that you can't kill something saved. This is why that rule made no sense, because once you get to this part of the list, so I mean, I'll even spend the kill on it. You know.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna take back my save. And then am I theoretically saving Infinity War because of the way people voted, or are you?
No,
I would change my vote.
Because that changes the vote.
I would change my vote to yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing is now we all vote yes.
I love when we just make up the rules as we go. This makes a much easier game.
In the interest of time, we've almost at 2 hours. Let's do this quickly. So next is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No.
No. I mean, I like it more than the first one, but it's a no. Sean?
Nope.
No.
PJ?
I don't like it more than the first one.
Okay.
I like it, but I don't think it belongs on a top 10.
Okay, great.
Agent Woo's a top 10 supporting character, but that's the only top 10.
Ant-Man and the Wasp does make it. That brings us to Captain Marvel. For what it's worth, this is another one that's like right there on the borderline for me where I could have gone yes or no, but because of where we're at, unfortunately, it's a no.
No for me.
No for me, only based on the fact that Jude Law was not a good villain. I liked everything else about the film. I did not like Jude Law as the villain. And, the whole thing of telling a woman to control her emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, this film for me, I'll just say now, this film for me, I liked it. I think the problem is you're putting this film against Wonder Woman, like because of when they were both released, and I hate that that's what we're looking at, right? I hate those two have to be compared. But either way, I think the film is just okay to me. I like a lot of the throwback stuff in it. It's not. Although I appreciate Brandy's take in the chat. Brandy says it's her least favorite. There's just a lot of stuff in it I didn't like.
It was a phase 1 movie done in phase 3. I mean,
well, I also think Carol has done so much better.
I liked it. I liked that that's how it was because it was theoretically a prequel.
Mm-hmm. And that I thought was really cool. But I think Carol was just done so much better. Like I love Carol in the comics. I think Carol was just done so much better in Endgame.
Yeah, agreed.
I like the movie a lot, but it's not top 10 for me.
I like it. Yeah. It's close to top 10, but it's not top 10.
Agreed.
It's got a great color palette.
Oh,
yeah, it does.
All right, that brings us to Endgame.
Yes.
Just put it on the
I
board.
mean,
Don't even do it.
yeah, Endgame makes it, and then Spider-Man: Far From Home. While
like
it's great,
this movie
Mysterio
so
is great. I think it's so fun.
Unless,
It's not
well,
gonna,
hold on.
not
Now,
gonna make
now
it.
is the chance. Is there anything else anyone wants to spend their kills on?
No.
No.
Yeah, because I think the only thing I would kill, Patrick would end up saving. So,
Which one would you want to kill, and for what?
just for my own personal bias, I'd kill Iron Man 3 and put in Guardians 2. But
But
I
it
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
work
the-
like that. You would kill
Yeah,
it.
you
put
would
in
kill it and
Spider-Man.
put in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
yeah,
Yeah, and anyone else would probably save it too, since I know that we all voted that way. So
I wouldn't save it.
Sean might.
I don't have a save.
he doesn't have a save.
I saved Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah. Well,
But
you
can't.
That's it.
I want Iron Man.
That's
No, I want
it.
Iron Man over Spider-Man, but I don't know about Eric.
No, that's fine. We got the better Spider-Man movie on the list. so.
Yeah, so that's what matters. And now is the fun part. We have to rank this shit real fast.
Okay, so everyone get a whiteboard or a piece of paper or your phone is fine. Let's do this efficiently. And we'll start out by writing which film you want
In the number 10 slot.
in the number 10 spot.
I had a righty app and I can't find it. There it is. A righty app. Oh no, my number 10.
Okay. Has everybody voted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll start with Kristen.
I had Iron Man 3 as my 10.
Eric.
Doctor Strange.
PJ.
Also, Doctor Strange.
Sean.
Panther.
Civil War.
Oh
So
no.
Strange.
So with
Doctor
two
Strange is
votes,
number 10.
unfortunately,
Heartbreaking.
Doctor Strange goes to number 10. All right, everyone write down what you want in the 9th spot. We will start with Eric.
Black Panther.
PJ.
I had Ragnarok.
Sean.
Panther.
I have Civil War.
Iron Man
Kristen.
3. Iron Man 3.
All
I'm
right,
not changing it.
guess-
I think that it's
Panther.
I
everything
guess
else
Black-
in here is stronger.
Okay. Write down what you want in the 8th spot. PJ.
Sorry, I changed mine. I put Civil War.
Sean.
Civil War.
Civil War. Kristen.
Okay.
It's Iron Man 3. It's a good movie.
Iron Man 3.
Come on.
Well, Civil War takes it. Okay, 7. Oh, good napkin. Sean,
Infinity War.
I have Homecoming. Kristen,
It's still Iron Man 3.
Eric,
Iron Man 3.
PJ.
Also, Iron Man 3.
Oh my gosh. I like Iron
Hey.
Man 3, guys. Jeez Louise.
6th.
So I'm Iron Man 3. Or I'm Infinity War, sorry.
Okay. Oh, I still have Homecoming.
Okay. We're just waiting on PJ.
Infinity
Eric.
War.
Infinity War. Eric.
Thor
Oh.
Ragnarok.
Kristen.
Oh. Well, I put Guardians, so we're at a stalemate. I'll change mine.
What are we at a
I-
stalemate over?
Nothing
we
got
didn't
2 votes.
Okay.
Oh no,
Infinity
Sean and
War
PJ
did.
both voted
PJ
Infinity
and I
War.
both Infinity. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Then never mind.
5th.
I had to think about what everyone else is going to vote now.
All right.
Kristen.
So I've got Ragnarok. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Guardians.
Eric.
Thor Ragnarok.
Ah, please.
Sean.
I'm Guardians.
So we have a tie. because 2 people did Guardians and 2 did Ragnarok.
So who's the one that didn't?
Me.
So what do you pick? Guardians or Ragnarok?
Guardians.
Okay.
Oh man, everything hurts.
Okay. 4.
Oh no! Oh no!
So who had Ragnarok?
Me. I'm
So
still
you're
there,
sticking
kid.
with Ragnarok. Who's
Pat
sticking with
and
Ragnarok?
Eric.
I
So
changed
Kristen.
Spider-Man
Oh.
Homecoming.
Oh, you're doing Homecoming. Okay.
And
I
I have
also had
Homecoming. So it's
Okay.
Homecoming.
Homecoming.
What was yours, Sean?
I had Endgame.
Oh, fantastic!
All right. Well, I'm sticking with Ragnarok.
Thor
Okay,
Ragnarok.
PJ has Ragnarok. Eric has Ragnarok. Kristen,
Endgame.
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 Okay.
I made it very public. My personal ranking.
All right, and so here's what we're gonna do. Since there's only 2 left,
Now we
are
write
now
our
gonna
number
vote
one.
for
Number
what your
one.
number 1 is of the 2 that are left.
So,
Well,
Kristen, go ahead and show yours because it's Ragnarok. Everyone else,
Soldier.
go ahead and show yours.
Yeah, I know. Like I said,
Team
I
Cap.
love on
Yep.
these.
And so yep. And there you have it. Our top 10 MCU films. The Winter Soldier, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Infinity War, Iron Man 3, Captain America Civil War, Black Panther, and Doctor Strange. There you have it. That was fun. I mean, honestly, for the most part, the list turned out just about how I would expected it. The only surprise for me is how low Black Panther ended up in the top 10. That's okay. At a certain point with these movies, it's like picking straws over, which you prefer.
And I think a lot of people choose based on emotion, not necessarily quality of movie, right? Like,
sure,
like Kristen is so strong about Ragnarok. I'm so strong about Iron Man 3. That kind of stuff.
Guardians.
Yeah, I think that's what really affects this list.
And honestly, surprisingly, all of us felt so strongly about Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
which is not something I would have
Except for
expected.
Except for Eric.
Well, that's fine. There's always got to be a dissenter, and that pleases me. So, and I think ultimately this list represents a lot of the different things the MCU has to offer.
I could not agree more, man.
Certainly, the one other thing I think you can note about the MCU, or at least how we feel about it ultimately, is we do genuinely feel like it got better as it went along. Kind of peaked in the middle, but there's no film from Phase 1 on the list.
It was very close there.
Man, we killed off the 2 of them.
We killed the 2 of them. But I think, like, for me, Iron Man 3 is such a great spiritual successor to Phase 1, and same with Winter Soldier. Like, those 2.
I don't disagree.
And
those 2 are earlier on in the MCU.
Yeah, those are both both only Phase 2 movies, and Guardians is Phase 2.
Yeah. So there you go. Thank you all so much for being on the panel with us tonight. Eric, I know you got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I know this is late for you. Very quick, where can everyone find you online? What do you got to promote?
You can find me on Twitter at handsome_cheese. You can find me here on the Bajunkin Thursday nights with the handsome Dan and I as we ramble on about movies. And my last plug is check out Raya and the Last Dragon. It's worth it. I watched that last night. Very good.
Eric, before you go, since this list doesn't necessarily cover that, what is your favorite MCU film?
Oh, my favorite MCU film? Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, okay.
Yeah, because I've always been Team Cap, and when I walked out of that movie, I was like, this is the best. This is like the Dark Knight comparison, I get it because that is considered the best Batman film, but this is the best of the MCU.
All right. Thank you so much, Eric. Have a good night. We'll let you drop
Good night,
out.
everyone.
Later, friend.
Sean, where can everyone find you online? What do you got going on?
You can find me at Suit of Sully on Twitter, Sean Sully on Twitch. I will be probably streaming something tomorrow night, painting related or D&D related. Yeah, that's what I got. And my favorite MCU movie is Iron Man 3, but you all already know that.
Awesome. Kristen, where can everyone find you online? What do you got going on?
You can find me Smith_K10, the number, not the word, at Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust, even though I don't post anything on Stardust. And I do stuff on this channel when I have the time. Check out Drunk sometime later in the month.
And your favorite is Thor Ragnarok?
Today.
Fair. PJ, what about you? Where can everyone find you? What do you got going on? And what would your choice be for number one MCU movie overall?
It goes back and forth between Guardians and Endgame for me. Again, the Endgame thing for me is like that third act is just, I never thought in my life we'd get there. Like for someone who sat in front of a Circle K with a Slurpee reading comic books as a kid, like
Snoochie Boochies
was... Yeah, pretty much. But you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PJ_Campbell. You can find me over at the Movie Trivia Schmodown, where I write the questions. Be nice to the writers. We're only human. It's going to be a long season, but your guys' support is the best. And, you know, I see a lot of you finally shutting down the people who talk shit about the writers. Thank you. Continue doing that. I know that sounds
question
weird,
writers.
but, like, the more that people actually stand up for us, the more that people will stop. So, you know, thank you.
So this is a great question. Unfortunately, it was kind of buried because there's been so much news going on. But in February of this year, just last month, the company went bankrupt.
Yeah.
They had to sell their server farms to Google. Salad is no more. It is gone. And it's a shame because I had such great things on my feed there and I didn't save them all. And they're all
of my viral stuff was on Salad.
You can still get your Twitter and Salad shirt on our PJCN store.
Absolutely.
Over at
Absolutely.
It's true.
I heard
will live forever in our hearts.
They've been using our the old Salad servers for WandaVision, which makes a lot of sense, though.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense. You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Cinemaxwell. Instagram is Cinemaxwell Inc. Of course, you can always find me here on the PJCN. In particular, 2 shows this week that I host that I love. Tuesday night, Book Nook, me and Dwayne Burke and our guest Aiden Cossack as we talk about Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Please, please, please be there for that. And on Thursday, Front Center Mez is back. PJ and I will be joined by our guest Andrew Kober, who has had a wonderful Broadway career, everything from Hair to She Loves Me, and on and on and on. I am very much looking forward to talking with him. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for your continued support. And as we always say, please be safe. Please wear your masks. Do your best to get a vaccination when you're eligible. And we will see you tomorrow for our watch along.
Bye.
Please leave this office.
Do we get any sort of souvenir?
Get out of my office!
I'll be back. I gotta pay.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. Need the info.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Heavy is the head that eats the crayons. I'm gonna take a nap. See you in 10 hours.
Dude, I almost had you.
You almost had me. You never had me.
I like your style, dude.
End of line.